Dan G. He's from Sydney, Australia, and he's a fellow van lifer. Back in March, he started posting on Instagram the build of his Sprinter. He'd lost his job, he was building out his van to live in, and he was working flat out. Fast forward to June and he's posting the last of his build pictures on Instagram, and he's starting to move in. And he'd been living in that van for about 3 weeks. A couple of weeks ago, this happened.
A Sydney man has narrowly escaped with his life after his camper van was deliberately set on fire while he slept inside. Daniel Gialdini had been living in the van on a relative's property after he lost his job, and he's now lost most of his possessions. He's the latest victim of what authorities believe could be a serial arsonist targeting vehicles in Western Sydney. Leah Harris has this exclusive story.
As Daniel Gialdini surveys the charred remains of his camper van, he knows he's lucky to be alive.
Last night, trying to go to sleep, I just get visions of that white cloud of smoke, you know. It's terrifying to almost lose your life.
The 37-year-old was asleep in the vehicle parked in his uncle's driveway in Yagoona on Friday night when it was set alight.
Woke up to a cloud of smoke. In a half-dazed, panicky state. I was reaching for the back door.
He managed to escape unharmed and watched as his $20,000 van, which was uninsured, went up in flames. It was the second vehicle set on fire in the area that night. Penny Senilolakula's Mazda was also torched in front of his home just 2 streets away. And it appears they may not have been isolated incidents. There's been a spike in vehicle fires in the area in recent weeks, and authorities are investigating if a serial arsonist is responsible.
Said something like 20 odd in the last 12 months, all started in the same spot, all potentially used with some sort of accelerant.
Mr. Gialdini doesn't believe those responsible were aware he was inside the van at the time. But if he hadn't managed to escape, police could have been hunting them for a crime much worse than arson. Leah Harris, 10 Eyewitness News.
Genuinely gutted for the guy. He gutted for him because he worked flat out for 2 months to build that van out. Some motherfucker set his van on fire with him inside. There's no way of dressing it up. I'll put a link at the bottom of the screen and down in the description. The guy's shown some real humility in this, and he said to me he just hopes that something like this doesn't happen to someone else. And even worse, because Dan nearly died. He nearly died. He was able to get out of the van before he died. He could have died just from the smoke inhalation. I'm going to do a fire drill. I'm going to see what will happen if, in the event of a fire, I need to get out the back doors. So I'm going to deadlock it and see whether I can open up both doors at the same time and escape the van. So this is my side door deadlock. You can see it's right in the structure of the van here. You see the tongue of the deadlock 20mm into the frame of the door. There's no way of getting it open from the inside. You can only open it from the outside. The lock itself is exactly the same on the other door. Maybe I can get these open from the inside. It's a tight fit. You can see where the tongue sits behind a metal plate riveted into the frame of the opposite door. I'm thinking that might save my bacon. I have to somehow simultaneously open both doors at the same time. This thing here only operates when the other door is open. I'm dead. I'm going to reposition the handle if I can, so that I can open both doors simultaneously. I don't have a hex bit that size, but I do have a Torx T30 that fits there's a square profile to the door opening mechanism, and there's a matching square on the inside of that handle. It goes on like that, but I'm going to take it off and turn it a quarter turn. It does mean that it's sticking out into the van. We'll see if that's going to be a problem as well. But it opens. Let's see if it closes. It doesn't interfere with closing of the doors. It actually misses the trim there. Okay. So both doors can be opened from the inside, and let's see what happens with the deadlock on. In an emergency I could probably kick that open, but it does jam up here. Okay, so that one's open. It still jams here. This is the lock mechanism that locks the second door against the first door. Now, as they both open at the same time, you can see here where the catch is snagging against the metal here. Even when that's out of the way, it causes the mechanism to lock again. In an emergency, I boot the shit out of it and get out. Again, Dan, I know I've told you before, but I'm really gutted for you. I do hope everything gets sorted out for you in the end. I hope they catch the guy who's done all of this. I hope you get back on the road soon. Alright, you take care, mate. And everyone else, be safe, okay?